Hey, it's Vanessa from CraftyGemini.com, and I post weekly crafting and cooking videos here on YouTube. This week I'm back with block number 10 of our video quilt along. If you're coming across this tutorial randomly, we're now at block number 10 out of 12 that I'm walking you guys through step by step on how to make in my video quilt along. If you want to start from the beginning, go ahead and click right there and I'll send you to the playlist. You can start watching from block number 1. This week I'm going to teach you guys how to make a very simple and easy strip block, but I'm giving it more of a modern twist with an applique piece right on top. Let's start with the supplies we'll need and jump right into making block number 10. So here I have 6 different strips. They each measure 2.5 inches wide, and then the length varies. Obviously I'm using scraps. You just want it to be at least 13 inches because what we're going to do is trim it down to the 12.5 by 12.5 that we need. So you're going to take each strip, and they can be all different fabrics if you want. You're going to sew them all next to each other like I have here. And what I've done is I've actually pressed the seam just heading in one direction. So you want to go ahead and set those seams and press them like we normally do. And now I'm going to measure here, make sure that I sewed nice 1/4 inch seam allowances. It should measure 12.5 inches across where all the strips are sewn together. So now that we have the 12.5 that way, I'm going to turn it because now I need to trim 12.5 inches on the other 2 sides as well. To trim my block on this side, instead of lining up my ruler with the bottom edge there, what I like to do is line up one of the lines on the ruler with one of my seam lines. I'm pretty confident in my sewing straight lines, so I'm pretty sure that that line that I line it up on will be straight, and that'll give me a nice square edge for the block. And from that fresh cut edge, I'm going to now measure 12.5 inches to the left. So I'm going to put my 12.5 inch mark on that edge on the right side that I just cut, bump up my second ruler right there, and then just slice that excess away. So now you just double check your measurements, make sure it measures 12.5 inches by 12.5 inches. Then you take your 4.5 inch square piece of fabric here and you can pretty much place it anywhere on the block that you'd like. I think this would make a really cool quilt if we did a bunch of these blocks and kind of just moved around the little applique square in the different blocks. That would give it a nice modern look with some bold colors. But I've decided on this corner right here so it can contrast nicely against the back fabrics, pin it in place, and now I'm going to zigzag stitch it down. You can use any decorative stitch that you have on your machine. This is just going to help keep the edges from fraying too much. Notice I'm stopping with the needle on the furthest tip right there, pivot, and then continue stitching all the way around. When you get to the end, re-stitch just a few stitches over where you began and back stitch as well if you'd like. You've machine appliqued your square on, and that's it. So here's what the finished block looks like. And now that you're done with block number 10, go ahead and put it aside with the rest of the blocks and meet me here in 2 weeks when I teach you how to make block number 11. And remember to upload your pictures of the completed quilt blocks to our Facebook page. I always love to see what you're making from the Crafty Gemini tutorials.